We're going to continue our 2025 OHL season preview series as we get set for the upcoming 25-26 regular season. I'll be recording these in bunches because I'm on holidays next week, but I want to still have videos posted here on the channel. So let's get things going. Today, we are going to look at the Peterborough Petes, and there's some excitement brewing for the maroon and white this upcoming season. These last two seasons have been some growing pains as this team going through a bit of a rebuild, but I think they're ready to take the next step. If you go back to the 2022-23 campaign, there was some disappointment during the regular season. They finished with a record of 35-29-2-2, 74 points. But when the playoffs arrived, the Petes, they were an unstoppable force and would go on to win the OHL championship, defeating the London Knights, and then, of course, falling short at the Memorial Cup. But then after the team sold off a lot of their veterans, and it wasn't really much of a surprise for 23-24, they ended up with a record of 20-47-1, 48 points. And that was kind of the plan for the Peterborough Petes. Build a solid core with some young talents and just grow with it and add to those pieces as things went along. But last year, they did take a bit of a step back. Remember, they lost 15 in a row to start the regular season, which was a franchise worst. They ended the season with a record of 18-41-4-5 for 41 points, and they missed the playoffs for the second consecutive season. Now, looking at last year's stats, their goals for per game, 2.52. That is not going to win you many games when their goals against is 4.1 goals against per game. So, yeah, there was some struggles last season for this Peterborough Petes team. Their power play ranked last in the OHL at 13%. Well, their penalty kill, it was a little bit better, 17th overall with a success rate of 76.3%. So, yeah, I think that's as low as things are going to get for this Peterborough Petes team. The top five scorers last year, Jonathan Malee, the overage forward, he led the charge, 21 goals, 16 assists, 37 points. Aiden Young, second in scoring, 13 goals, 20 assists, 33 points. Caden Taylor had 15 goals, 16 assists, 31 points. Braden McCallum was fourth in scoring last season, 9 goals, 22 assists, 31 points. And then Martin Matejacek, 13 goals, 16 assists, 29 points. So when you see your top five scorers there, the offense just wasn't there for the Peterborough Petes. And then for Fitzgerald, he missed a good chunk of the season due to injury. So I would expect in his second full season with the Peterborough Petes, I'm thinking Fitzgerald you should see him in the top five scoring in this upcoming season for the Peterborough Petes. Now, in the goaltending side of things, starting off with Easton Rye, he had the most wins last year with a record of 10-14-2-1. He had a .902 save percentage, which is pretty impressive when you consider the record the Peterborough Petes team had, although they gave up a ton of shots. So the goaltenders for the Peterborough Petes last year were kept quite busy. And then you have Zach Bowen. He had an 8-22-2-3 record, 893 save percentage. And the Petes deciding that Easton Rye will be their starting goaltender next year as Bowen was moved on to the Brampton Steelheads. We'll get to that in a few minutes. Then you have Mason Johnston. 0-2-0-1 was his record last year, but he had a .910 save percentage. So he made his appearances count. And then Liam Stushka, he had an 0-3 record before leaving the team and an .895 save percentage. So on the goaltending front, I think it's looking a little bright, I think, with Easton Rye. He showed what he's capable of last year, and now with a more capable team in front of him, I would expect bigger things for him between the pipes for this Peterborough Petes squad. Now, during the summer, it's been pretty busy when it comes to adding pieces. They brought in Matthew Soto from the Kingston Frontenacs, who they're familiar with. James Petrovsky, I think, is a great addition from the Owen Sound attack. He's going to bring some stability to the blue line. And then Lucas Karmiris, the centerman from the Brampton Steelheads, another good pickup. Plays a lot bigger than he stands, which I think says a lot about Lucas Karmiris, one of the fan favorites in Brampton last season. So I think these are some great additions for this Peterborough Petes team, adding to the core that they already have. And they really didn't have to give up too much during the offseason. They traded away Zach Bowen to the Brampton Steelheads to make way for Easton Rye, so he can have that starting job. And then they traded Alex Haig to the Niagara Ice Dogs. He wasn't signed before he was traded. He signed that deal with the Ice Dogs after the move. But I think that's because the top six is set for this Peterborough Petes team. And then they've also released Nico Addy. They did try to make a deal to find him a new home in the Ontario Hockey League, but that did not transpire. So Addy being released from the Petes organization. Now they have several signings. They've signed their second round selection, Kieran Rayner. Also Matthew Perreault. They've signed third round pick Jerry DiConzolo. And then imports Leon Kolarek and Yanis Lutz. And the big import signing is their 2024 selection, Adam Novotny. There is some hype when it comes to Novotny coming over from Europe. And Matejchuk apparently had a part in getting Novotny to sign with the Peterborough Petes. Now, you'll notice that at the time of recording, Caden McGregor has still not signed after being selected first overall in the 2025 OHL priority selection. According to the Peterborough Petes, he has been in town. He's met with his billets. They do expect to sign him. It's just some concerns being raised by his agency that represents him over the new OHL standard agreement. So according to the Petes, they expect him to sign before training camp, but when you're seeing how close we are to the start of training camp, I think Pete's fans may be getting a little nervous here that McGregor still hasn't signed. Now, they do have a decent draft cupboard going into the 25-26 season. They don't have a second-round pick in 2026, but they have Brampton's third and no fourth-round pick in 2026. But they have Saginaw's second-round pick in 2027 plus 2/3. And they also have a second in 2028 plus 2/3, and then all their picks in 2029. So this is a Peterborough Petes team that come OHL trade deadline. If they're in the top half of the Eastern Conference standings, this team could look to add. I think it's going to be tough to win the East Division. The Brantford Bulldogs, right now a heavy favorite in the Ontario Hockey League to win the Eastern Conference. But I think this Peterborough Petes team could surprise some people this season. I'm predicting my best guess is they're going to finish somewhere between 4th and 6th, maybe challenge for home ice advantage come playoff time. It's going to, I think, depend on whether or not this team will get the solid goaltending and could figure out a way to keep pucks out of the net. But the offense, they've got a lot of firepower up front, and I feel as though the Petes are ready to take that next step. Now, when you look at the channel votes, I've got all the polls posted on the channel under posts. The Peterborough Petes getting some love from members of the channel. 14% say that they expect the Petes to finish in the top 3 of the Eastern Conference standings. 31% believe that this team will finish between 4th and 6th. And 55% of the vote expect Peterborough at the bottom of the standings between 7th and 10th. And I almost wonder if that's kind of a recency factor, considering the Peterborough Petes have missed the playoffs the last 2 seasons. But still, that's how the vote is going on the channel. I'm leaning towards somewhere between 4th and 6th, but we'll have to wait and see. I think there's some good optimism when it comes to this Peterborough Petes organization going into next season, and it's going to be great to see playoff hockey return to the PMC as the fans, even though this team has struggled these last 2 seasons, they've been close to sellouts every game during the regular season, even when this team was struggling. So the fan support is there, and I cannot wait to see what this Petes team can do over the course of the 25-26 season. So let me know in the comments section down below your thoughts on the Petes. What are your expectations? Do you think they challenge for home ice in the playoffs, or are you also a part of the channel vote that you expect, no, they're going to be fighting for their playoff lives? Love to see the interactions. Thank you very much for all your support. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you again soon.